So before we even get into talking about the game as a whole, I'm kind of confused on this whole COVID protocol thing because this is like the 30th time that, okay, not 30th time, but this is another instance in which a player that had played against the Wizards prior has tested positive for coronavirus, and the Wizards initially didn't have to quarantine anyone, but this time they did, and it made it even more confusing. The timeline, if I'm remembering correctly, it started with Seth Curry, who they found out was actually positive after during the time they were playing the Nets. And then everybody was like, okay, so are the Wizards gonna have to quarantine because they played the Sixers like a night before? And though he did test negative at the time of the game, when you find out it's positive, don't you want to, kind of maybe have that team quarantine? It's just kind of weird how that works. And so I'm just kind of confused on that. I really don't understand that, because then Beal had to quarantine as well. And I'm like, okay, Beal played against Tatum. This is true. You know who else played against Tatum? Like 7-8 other players. Did they come into contact with Tatum? Potentially. Do I want to go rewatch the Wizards lose a game just to prove that? No, because it's obvious. I'm really confused on the COVID protocols and the way that the NBA is kind of like pushing it out and trying to explain it. It's really weird. I just feel like there needs to be a better way of explaining this, or just anything kind of less vague, because Beal quarantining, I guess, makes sense if you just include the little snippet of him and Tatum talking, but it's like whole entire team came into contact with this man as well as his own team. And also on top of that, the Sixers, they barely had enough players to play the game, but they had to go play that game. It's just weird. It's just really weird, the season. I know we said it's going to be really weird, but the way that the NBA is handling this, at least from an optics perspective, it's not looking good. It's looking really confusing. That's the COVID protocol. I guess we can talk about the Wizards and the Heat now. As we know, we were playing this game without Bradley Beal, which is just already, it's taken Herculean efforts from Beal himself for the games to even be slightly competitive, which is a sad joke. We have mastered the art of the fake comeback. This is like the third game where we have said, oh, hey, maybe we should try. And now I talk about Brooks, I talk about his rotations, I talk about how he's harmful to the overall just structure of our offense and defense and development of our players. But there is something to be said for the fact that this Wizards team has this weird innate ability to make a game competitive enough that all of us Wizards fans go, oh, is this serotonin? Is there hope? Could we win? Yeah, and then we lose like right after. It's the new Wizards formula, This time, the fake comeback was very late. Like, we had about a minute left and 50 seconds, and suddenly Denny was like, hey Miami, I heard you like threes. Here's 3 of them. And suddenly we were really close, and then Rui didn't get fouled on a layup attempt, and they went back on the other end and scored, and we kept trying to go for a 3. We were only down like 4 at that point, I think. Yeah, we lost again. Nothing new there, Nothing new. It's the same old Wizards. The main thing I want to talk about with this game, other than, right. This game was already depressing. Being a Wizards fan is depressing, and sometimes watching the Wizards is very sad, and our commentators make it worse. But Thomas Bryant going down with a left knee injury that we won't have a report on, like the MRI, is Sunday night, I can't remember. Seeing Thomas Bryant go down just hurt, because as much as I have derided him, and as much as I say like he's best as a bench big, you can't really teach effort. TB just gives a crap. Throughout the whole entire game, he gives a crap, and I love him for it. Like I said, I've derided him many a time, but the one thing I can't deny is that this man will try. And even if he doesn't succeed, he'll try. So when he went down and he didn't get up, it was like, oh God. Oh, this is just, oh no. TB, hope you get better soon, and it'll be nicer when you're back on the court doing what you do, shooting threes and trying your damnedest on defense. I hope he'll be okay. Just suck to see him go down, because he's definitely, you know, career arc wise, he improved a lot, you know, because he was just I think him and Wagner were just throw-ins on a Lakers trade, or no, we picked up Brian off of waivers. I think he was like a pick for the Lakers that they just left sitting in the G League for a while. Not only did we lose Beal to random COVID protocols, but Thomas Bryant went out with an injury, and it really sucked. But it does get to my main point. Scott Brooks, he's managed to make himself like the main character of like every Wizards fan's anger and frustration. For good reason though, because he says some inexplicable things after post-game where he's like trying to tell you that the defense is trash. It's like, yeah, it is, but you're supposed to, like, you know, help change that, and you're not. No, this game, in terms of being another indictment on Brooks, as if we've needed that, because we signed this guy just so that KD would like look at us, and KD didn't even look at us. Brooks's coaching is bad. This is an obvious statement that will now be followed up with evidence from this game, which is the main point I'm trying to get to. Garrison Matthews, Troy Brown Jr., Isak Bonga, and Mo Wagner. What do these guys have in common? I call them the MIA crew, and I call them that because Brooks has randomly DNP'd them. He also did it to Jerome Robinson in the Boston game. So now I'm just like, I don't know. I don't understand. What is the criteria for Brooks? Because these guys literally showed that they just care. They tried. Did it work? No, because I know, like, they were, I believe it was Wizards After Dark, Fred Katz, another guy, were talking about how statistically the Wizards aren't necessarily bad defenders, and they actually do force opponents into bad shots. Watching these games, man, we don't take away anything. You can get whatever you like. We are literally, I used to say the defense is atrocious. I even said that the defense doesn't exist. But you know what? The defense is a buffet, because you can get whatever you want. And you can drive in the paint, we'll give that to you. Oh, you swung the ball? Wide open shot. Oh, you're going in the paint again? Here, free rim. So the MIA crew comes back. They actually play games, and it's just a revelation. Matthews is hitting shots, he's hustling, getting deflections and steals, and hitting every three under the sun. And everyone's like, what? You telling me you play a good player and he actually plays good? What? No. And then Brooks did Brooks things. The Wizards also being so bad at defense. It was so crazy. At one point, the score was so high in the first quarter. I think they ended 47-48. And I was just like, I kept looking at the score in the second quarter. I'm like, how is the second quarter not over? Like, the score is so high. And then I realized, I was like, oh, no, we just started. I thought we were at halftime. Playing against the Wizards will just net you a new scoring high. We'll break scoring records at some point, I'm sure. We already did against the Rockets like the other year. Yeah, you got Matthews out here shooting, stealing, deflections. You got Troy Brown Jr. trying on defense, doing something, moving, attempting to move, just not being a statue. Just like the Wizards just getting a stop is just one stop it's like a victory for them. You got all these guys that you had DNP'd for I want the reason, and he's not gonna give the reason. He'll just say something dumb like the rotation didn't come around to them, or he'll probably make some weird excuse, if not the rotation not coming around to them despite him being the head coach. Then he'll probably just be like, oh, just wait, their time will come. We're 2-8, winning, like, And it sucks to me that, like, you see these players, you can see how good they can be, and you just know that you have no idea whether Troy Brown Jr., Mo Wagner, Garrison Matthews, or Isak Bonga will actually see consistent floor time. Now, Drew Gooden was kind of making this BS excuse when we started losing the game, that it was because everyone was tired, because they don't, play regular games. I'm like, okay, for one, no, these guys are pretty conditioned, and everyone's playing under the same roof of weird things are happening in the season. We just played against Boston, who had like all of their bigs out except for like 2 of them. So we can't really use that as an excuse. But I do think there is some credence to being played so inconsistently that you legitimately don't know whether or not you're going to be sitting on the bench the next game. I think that has a legitimate damaging effect on any of the potential these guys might have, because they're put in such bad positions by coaching. Again, it's not all on coaching. I should make that clear. It's not all on coaching. These players got to, give an effort and actually try. But if you put them in such terrible positions and expect them to just somehow make like gold out of garbage, you're kidding yourself. Like I just talked about how the MIA crew all played this game, right? Bonga did show up at it was the very last play before halftime. They run something to get Butler going downhill, and Bonga gets to stop. We only go into the half down 1. I was like, okay, great. You know what happened after that? Can you guess? That's right, Brooks didn't play Bonga at all after that. Jerome Robinson got some run. So pretty much everyone that he DNP'd, he was forced to play. He was only forced to play him because Russ was also out. I completely forgot that Russ was out with left quad soreness. Not his finger this time, so, it's good, but it just sucks that he's out. And completely off topic, but Russ off the court, I just love him. But he's when he's on the court, he's very frustrating. And I know he's a good player. But right now, currently, the way he's playing, it's just making the wall trade look worse every time he plays, and it hurts. It hurts. It really hurts. So yeah, if you were looking for some hard-hitting analysis on why the Heat beat the Wizards can't play defense, and the Heat can. And even though there was one point where Bam Adebayo was put in 4 fouls, I've never seen that, but Bam got put in foul trouble, and we still couldn't take advantage, because again, you're playing against a two-way team like the Heat, who can shoot threes, because oh my god, scorching the Nets. My god. Heat score more than Wizards. Wizards lose. Wizards play no defense. Wizards have bad coach that don't instill any kind of, just any semblance of play. And basically, players playing well in spite of their coach, which is not what you want. You don't want them playing in spite of their coach. It's just so frustrating, especially when you're reading about the Pacers. They got Nate Bjorkgren, guy off the Nick Nurse tree, and they're just talking about how it's a revelation playing. The Knicks got Thibodeau, and they're playing better, and we're just sitting here with Brooks, and it just sucks because I don't know if we're gonna see Matthews and if we're gonna see Bonga ever again, or if we're gonna see Mo Wagner, or if we're gonna see these players after Thomas Bryant's MRI comes back, and he might potentially return. I don't know yet. And if we even get a chance to see, when Beal comes back and when Russ comes back, are we just gonna go back to the same thing? That's what I have a bad feeling about. That's what made this game so painful to watch. Not only because we were just getting, we were bad at defense, but just knowing that these players, watching them do well, and not knowing that our coach has enough logistics to be they're doing good, or at least they're trying. I'm going to give them a DNP next game. How dare they? And also, our superstar is unfortunately stuck out. So now, and also our starting center is injured, and we don't know the extent of that injury. So now our coach is being forced to play players that he should have been playing anyway. We'll see what happens. I guess we're 2-8 now, or 2-9. I can't remember. Either way, not a fun season so far. Really weird season with all the COVID stuff, and though, you know, Denny hit 3 threes at the end. That was cool. That was cool. Well, that was great. That was fun. That was a tiny bit of fun. That was nice, I guess. That was WizWatch versus the Heat. We didn't get cooked per se. We kind of got like, well, third quarter. My God. Okay, so we got a little bit boiled. We'll say we got boiled. I think it's fair. We got boiled. So it's fitting that on Monday we're playing the Suns, right? Well, this guy says, do Wizards wear sunscreen? I don't know. You tell me. Seriously, I don't know. Gandalf never responded to my text. It's kind of getting annoying.